Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about the single biggest line item on any hospital's books, labor costs. But we're not just going to look at the tip of the iceberg. Now, we're going deep to uncover what's really driving all that spending, below the surface. So, first things first, let's set the stage. Labor costs consistently make up more than half of all hospital operating expenses. That is a huge number that totally dominates financial planning and strategy meetings.
And because it's the #1 expense, it naturally gets the most attention when it's time to find some savings. The gut reaction is almost always to start looking for places to cut.
But here's the crucial question. Are those typical cost-cutting moves, like freezing hiring or slashing overtime, actually solving the problem? Or are they just surface-level fixes that totally ignore the deeper, more expensive issues?
Okay, so it's time to pull back the curtain. We're about to reveal the hidden drivers that are silently fueling labor spending, and a lot of the time they're hiding in plain sight.
And this, right here, is the core of the problem. For every common reactive fix, like let's just negotiate harder with staffing agencies, there's a much deeper strategic issue, like having a weak internal talent pipeline that's the true source of the cost. So let's break down exactly what these hidden drivers are.
Our first hidden driver is this relentless, soul-crushing turnover cycle. Think about it. Every single time a nurse, a physician, or a tech walks out the door, it kicks off this incredibly expensive and disruptive process to replace them. And the cost? It's staggering. We're talking up to 1.3 times an employee's annual salary just to backfill one single position. And then think about the downstream effect of that. Your marketing dollars just get spread thinner and thinner, basically plugging leaks in a dam instead of being invested in actual strategic growth. So all that turnover creates these huge gaps. And to fill those gaps, many hospitals have turned to our second driver, a heavy reliance on expensive travel nurses. This just isn't a sustainable solution, right? It leads to spiraling budgets, and it can absolutely crush the morale of your permanent staff. The real strategic fix isn't about finding cheaper contracts. It's about building such robust internal talent pipelines that you rarely even need to make that call in the first place. Now, the third driver is a little more subtle, but believe me, it is just as costly. Inefficient scheduling. It turns out that rising labor costs often have less to do with patient demand and everything to do with how staff schedules are actually built and managed. When your schedules don't align with predictable patient flow, you get this really costly mismatch. One week, your staff is stretched thin, leading to burnout and expensive overtime. The next, they might be underutilized. Both of those scenarios drain the budget, and the root cause is often a lack of predictive analytics in workforce planning.
Okay, so beyond all the internal logistics, there's the external battle for talent. And that brings us to driver number 4, weak employer branding. In today's market, your reputation as an employer directly hits your bottom line. Hard.
I mean, if your hospital has a poor digital presence or a confusing, clunky application process, top candidates are simply going to go elsewhere. And this just increases the time and money you have to spend to fill essential roles, creating this vicious cycle of higher and higher recruitment costs.
Our fifth and final driver. Well, this one might be the most powerful of them all, the cost of a burnout culture. This is the silent force that can undermine every other effort you make to control costs.
Look, culture is not a soft metric. It has hard, cold financial consequences. A burnout culture creates this whole cascade of hidden expenses. You're paying more in retention bonuses just to keep people, your patient satisfaction scores drop, and of course, turnover skyrockets. And that just restarts the entire costly cycle all over again. So, we've identified 5 really deep-rooted problems. Now, let's talk about the solution. And it's a comprehensive approach that addresses all 5 of these drivers right at their core. The solution is to completely reframe how we think about hiring. This is where healthcare recruitment marketing comes into play. And this is not just about posting jobs. Think of it as a strategic cost control mechanism that's designed to build a stable workforce by tackling the very root causes we've been talking about. And here's the beautiful part. It's how it all connects.
A single, cohesive strategy can build your employer brand, create those proactive talent pipelines, reduce your reliance on travel nurses, and help you attract talent that truly fits your culture. You're not just plugging leaks anymore. You're solving multiple problems at once.
This brings us to the main takeaway. Controlling these labor costs requires a fundamental shift in mindset for hospital leaders.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this. Leaders have to move away from reactive expense management and towards strategic investment. You have to stop making those surface-level cuts and start addressing the root causes of your costs. That is how you build long-term workforce stability.
And that leaves us with one final provocative thought. It's a question every hospital leader should be asking themselves. Is your recruitment budget just another cost center to be minimized, or is it a strategic tool that could become your greatest competitive advantage?